At a time when there is violence in Bengal, to Kerala, to Manipur, at a time when the Supreme Court is hearing the entire matter of the Waqf Act passed by Parliament last week, I'm joined by Minority Affairs Minister, Mr. Kiren Rijiju. Mr. Kiren Rijiju, are you breathing a sigh of relief that the Supreme Court hasn't stayed the Waqf Act just yet, and you've been able to manage a 7-day reprieve because you will submit the government will submit their affidavit? Are you worried about the act itself?
No, I will not look at things from that way as you are describing. I would rather ensure that the objective of the act, which we passed in a parliament after marathon debate, and also which had gone through JPC and many other deep consultation process, we have to finally see the logical conclusion of the intention of the entire parliament and the government. So the timeline is another issue which I may explain later on, but as of now, it's a process. I'm satisfied that we have passed it through the parliament, and let us see at the time of implementation, there are certain things we have to do, like drafting of subordinate legislation, the rules and everything will come. And then we will give a holistic look little later. But right now, I'm just seeing it as a normal course of action. And the Supreme Court of India definitely will take a call. But I have my own sense that it will not go into a situation where we will be disappointed.
75 plus parties have challenged the Waqf Act in the Supreme Court. And you're saying this is something that you expected, normal course of events, 75 parties opposing the act?
I have very emphatically stated in the past also on this matter. The judiciary has its own role to play. We are a nation of parliamentary democracy. We govern ourselves. The people of India govern themselves through their elected representatives. The judiciary is there to scrutinize and to ensure that the spirit of the Constitution is maintained and the rule of law is totally followed by everybody. So that part, there's no question about it. If any provision is found to be violative of any provision of the Constitution, Supreme Court will definitely look into it. But the point is, since we had gone through so much of deliberation into the entire process of the passing of the Waqf Amendment Act, if somebody tries to come through a back door to scuttle the entire effort and to further their political interests, that is not a welcome step. However, that doesn't prevent them from going to the court. The nation understands that Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has been given the mandate to rule the country. Few of the opposition parties not getting people's mandate and trying, remember this point, an attempt to use the judiciary to suppress the decision of the majority of the people, that is uncalled for. I will not say that judiciary will come under pressure or judiciary can be misused, but the attempt to use judiciary into the legislative matter, that attempt itself is something which we have to think about.
But you may have the mandate of the people, but whether or not that meets the constitutional propriety, constitutional law that exists, the spirit of the Constitution, is something that will be overseen by the Supreme Court. So when I want to ask you, and I want to quote you, you say, we have to respect each other. This you have said in a recent interview with respect to the courts. You've said we have to respect each other. If tomorrow the government interferes into judiciary, it won't be nice. The separation of powers is well defined. Is this a threat to the judiciary?
The thin line which has given each organ of the state its own responsibility is something which I need not explain. What is the role of judiciary? What is the responsibility of the parliament, the legislative wing, and then the role of the executive? These are something Kiren Rijiju need not speak out. I am stating something which is already understood by everyone. What I am saying is, some of the political parties, even in the floor of the House, saying that we will ensure that judiciary, dismiss or strike down the provisions of this particular act. This kind of statement are a little bit disturbing because judiciary will do what it has to do. And in the last 77 years, there may be some incident in the past where the governments have tried to interfere into the judicial functions, but not our government. We have always given utmost respect to the judiciary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been the Prime Minister from the day one, bowed down before the Constitution book. He is the one who started the celebration of the Constitution Day. Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister who had given maximum respect and recognition to Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. So from our government, we respect judiciary in totality. What I'm referring to is the attempt made by some of the political parties. That is something we have to understand. And things will stand the scrutiny of the judiciary is well understood. I am nobody to question the limitation of the authority of the judiciary. Judiciary has its own wisdom. The people who are there in the Supreme Court, they are learned people. They have their own wisdom. And I don't think they will just be cowed down by pressure tactics used by some of the opposition parties.
True, but when you say that the mandate of the people, majority of the people, want their decisions and rules and laws to be legislated as per the majority's choice. But there is a difference between majority decision making and majoritarianism. You and your government are being accused of following a path of majoritarianism, and that is the point that has been made in the Supreme Court, saying that you are against minorities. The Waqf Act is the biggest example of that.
This is a narrative being created by some of the desperate opposition parties. As I said, Prime Minister Modi ji has been, throughout from the day one, ensuring that our government is for all. The government's mantra is being spelled out from the day one, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And our party's mantra has been justice to all, appeasement to none. We are following the same mantra. There's nothing called majoritarianism in the approach which we have adopted. Waqf Amendment Act is the need of the time. And if you see the series of Muslim communities coming to me, they are in fact expressing deepest gratitude to the Prime Minister for this necessary amendment being brought in. Today also I had met several delegations from the weaker sections to the women to learned scholars from the Muslim community. So where does this coinage of majoritarianism has come up? I don't understand. I am the Minister for Minority Affairs, and we have 6 notified minorities in our country. Does it mean, according to the opposition party, that the Minority Affairs Minister has to be a Muslim? Even some of the members had stated that on the floor of the House, that a non-Muslim is presenting a Waqf Amendment Bill in the House. How unfortunate it is. Does that mean the Parsis, the Buddhists, the Sikhs, the Christians, the Jains don't exist? We have 6 notified communities and we are treating everybody as equal.
Are you? There's not a single Muslim minister that your cabinet has. And that is a glaring omission.
That is a question of the electoral result, which I don't decide. You elect more Muslim MPs, the more representation will come. That the electoral mandate is not decided by
How many
me.
Muslim candidates does your party even field?
The electoral politics is all about winning and the support. Everything is decided on the basis of the reality. I am not the person to decide. It is the collective leadership who take a call. I am nobody to take a call on how we should approach in terms of deciding.
But as a
the
minority
candidate.
affairs minister, do you find it a great omission that there's not a single Muslim member in your cabinet?
Then I can
The largest minority?
Then I can question that the Indian Union Muslim League never put up a candidate other than the Muslims. These are the things we cannot put and look at things from that angle. What I'm saying is, I feel fortunate enough to be the person who introduced the bill and got it passed, which is going to be a great relief and benefit for the weaker sections, the neglected people, the people who are unfortunate not to have any benefits out of the huge work properties that we have in our country. So I feel fortunate. The Prime Minister has given me this responsibility of the Minister for Minority Affairs, and I look after 6 communities equally. Where does the question come that the Minority Affairs Minister has to be a person from a particular religious background?
So let me ask you, when the Supreme Court asks 3 basic questions. Question number 1, that Waqf by user, there might be some genuine bona fide cases as well. Removing it lock, stock and barrel, the Supreme Court has asked you a question. Number 2, concern that the Supreme Court has put out is the question of you appointing non-Muslim members on the boards of Waqf. They've asked you a question, will you put non-Hindu members on the board of Hindu endowment trust as well? These questions are legitimate questions being asked.
These are valid questions, and this will be responded appropriately in the court. But what I want to make things very clear is, if you're talking about Waqf by users, I had explained it on the floor of the House also. We are a country which is being, following the rule of law according to the spirit of the Constitution of India. Now, you are expected to have a document of any particular property. You can't have in perpetuity having or something property without document. Suppose if you talk about Waqf by user, if a property is being used for particular purpose, the purpose for special Waqf is by declaring Waqf in the name of Allah for charitable, religious or pious purpose. These are well defined. Now, if you have declared a Waqf for a particular purpose, and if it is not utilized for the same purpose, what would you say? Secondly, Waqf by user has a connotation. We are not saying, if you see the provisions in the Act, we have not given it a retrospective effect. What we are saying is, those properties, even Waqf by users, are being recognized, are being acknowledged with certain documents which has been accepted in large. They will not have any kind of change in their status. So there is a miscommunication from somewhere saying that, Waqf by user means if there is a no deed agreement to create a property, then that will be terminated or government will take it over. No. Waqf by user, we have made it very clear. Hence, from now on, you can't create a Waqf by oral. You can't just by making a declaration orally. You have to have a document. That means through a deed of agreement. But any Waqf by user property which has been accepted, acknowledged, recognized, we can't go back and change the status.
But then why does the argument come in that the British did not hand over any deeds to the masjids, to the qabristans in India? Then that argument is not required, but your party did make that argument, which means that it will have some amount of ramifications from the retrospective basis.
Navika ji, someday, somewhere, we have to come to a status where everything is documented. If things are not done in the past, shouldn't we do effort to make it documented? Should we leave it like that because it didn't exist, any document at a time of transferring of title or whatever governance? So my point is very simple. We are not going to wreck up things to create disturbances or to undo certain things which are legitimate. So that is why I have been very specific in describing the work by user. Any work created on the basis of work by user which have attained a status of acceptance or some kind of
acceptance. Status of acceptance is a very vague terminology.
So how do
you prove that on a piece of paper, through legislation, through words, through documents? How do you do that?
Suppose if
what about the Sambal Mosque?
If the
Jama Masjid se Juma Masjid to bani gaya hai.
No. You can't compare everything, bring it on the table and start comparing. It doesn't happen like that. Suppose if there's a particular place which was declared as a work property by user, by that means, and then subsequently it got registered or it got accepted or there is some kind of acknowledgement by some authorities, some paper will be there. There cannot be any place which is alien in our country. Every territory is governed or come under certain jurisdiction. If there are certain acceptance to a particular piece of land or work property, we are not going to disturb that. But we have to take a step that this ambiguity cannot go on. Now, suppose tomorrow, if we say that, the work by user, since the provision has been struck down, and then you keep on creating work by, oral declaration, can you accept that? As a nation where rule of law is the essence, we have to ensure that certain status has to be established. And for that, we must make a provision through legislation to ensure that we are taking steps to make things easy, less complicated. Otherwise, why large numbers of Muslim communities themselves are coming to us and asking for certain legislative steps to ensure that things become more clear, more settled.
But a large number of Muslims are also in court today. Whether
they are politically motivated. Let me tell you, Navika ji, very clearly at this point of time, that most of the people, either they have opposed this bill or they have gone to the court, are politically motivated. The political parties who are against the Waqf Act are extremely driven by their political interests. They treat Muslims as a vote bank. I have always stated that if you treat any group as vote bank, then you are equating that group as commodities. You can't treat Muslims as just a vote bank or just like a commodity. Muslims are as Indian as anybody. So we don't treat anybody as a vote bank.
The same charge can be put against you.
No.
That those Muslims who are coming and meeting you are propped by you for your own political purpose of getting the act passed.
BJP was born only in 1980 on 6 April. The sufferings of the Muslims had happened since long time. The Waqf Acts, the provisions existed since 1913. How come the poor Muslims are suffering? The minorities, or what do you say, the backward communities within the Muslims are suffering for a long time. They are coming, the delegations, I will spell out maybe sometime later in a more concrete way how much and in what way the poor, the neglected portions within the Muslim communities are so unhappy with the existing provisions. See, we have the largest work properties in the world. Why this property is not being utilized? If we just leave it status quo, what benefits these properties are getting for the poor people?
I'm convinced that the Waqf properties, in the manner in which they have accumulated, may not take care of all the poor people, may not be leveraged to give them benefit. Even if that premise is agreed to, the point is there are so many things wrong in this country. Why do you choose to correct only Waqf? Why do you only bring in CAA? This approach is being seen as anti-minority. How would you defend yourself? In fact, even your own cabinet minister colleague, Mr. Ramdas Athavale, has a problem with the Bodh Gaya temple's board, where there are 4 Buddhists and 4 non-Buddhists present. He wants all Buddhists to be present. You're a Buddhist yourself. What is your view on that?
Now, the Bodh Gaya temple management issue will be handled separately because that is a state act. That act was passed in 1949 by Bihar state. So it is not a legislation by the Parliament of India. So that is another thing I will require long time to explain about the ramifications and the other provisions of the Bodh Gaya issue. But coming here, as you are talking about some of the names of the act which are dealing with or which are related to Muslims, tell me any other provisions other than the Waqf Amendment Act which is concerning only Muslims? It is not. If you talk about the CA, it is the people who make it as a Muslim issue. It is not a Muslim issue. It is about the minorities who are subjected to religious persecution in the neighboring states, neighboring countries in Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, and who have come to India as a refugee. So this is not a targeted, kind of a step for Muslim community. These are for the unfortunate people, and they're coming to our shelter. And then if people start thinking that our government is doing only things connected to Muslim, that means people are ignoring every day the numerous steps we are taking for the country as a whole, sabka saath, sabka vikas. And if people think that the only one act which is related to Waqf properties, and they think that we are targeting the Muslims, how unfortunate and bizarre argument that is, means they are blindly ignoring the reality on the ground and the efforts, the genuine attempt made by our government from time to time. We are the government with maximum records of bringing legislation in the House, passing them, deleting and removing all the redundant laws, bringing new provisions for better care, better welfare, for the betterment of the future of the communities. The kind of efforts what we are doing are to be seen from totality. If the propaganda of Muslim-centric approach or the totalitarian kind of approach which is being accused time and again, I think that is exactly these people want to brand our government and then give it a picture that the BJP government, NDA government is anti-Muslim. How can they even attempt to paint such picture which is not true?
So how does anybody explain the violence that we are seeing in Kerala, in Bengal specifically?
No, Bengal is a very specific case. It's a very unfortunate that the Chief Minister, the day we passed the Waqf Amendment Act, immediately she made a statement that she will not allow the act to be implemented in West Bengal. What does it mean? And then she justifies, the TMC justified, that the violence is a natural reaction of the act. Law and order is a state subject. Chief Minister is the right person to handle the law and order situation because it is, as a mandate given by the Constitution, central government cannot interfere into the issues or handling the law and order situation. Now the Chief Minister has in effect given incitement, instigating the people to protest and creating violence leading to unfortunate tragic death of innocent people. And she herself is to contain it. How unfortunate situation, she should realize.
But she's accused the Home Minister of not being able to control the infiltration of Bangladeshis because it is the Bangladeshis, she says, who have created this law and order situation, violence and riots in Bengal.
It is difficult to respond to statements and speeches made by Mamata Banerjee. It's very difficult.
Why?
Because at some point of time she says, oh, everybody is welcome in West Bengal. All are welcome. Bangladeshi illegal migrants are welcomed by her openly. And then another time she says that, oh, infiltrations are happening, they should be stopped, BSF has failed. And then she starts accusing the Home Minister. How unfortunate. The Chief Minister of the state must be responsible enough to understand the situation, the propriety, and also speak the words with much careful and also with controlled manner. It is very unfortunate the way she is saying all these kind of statements, she is coming out with. This will fuel further violence. And the Supreme Court has taken note of that. The Mushidabad incident particularly is very unfortunate. And squarely, the fault lies with the Chief Minister and the State Government of West Bengal.
How do you see the fact that she met with the Maulanas, the Imams, the Islamic scholars yesterday, but she hasn't really gone and met the families of victims of Mushidabad?
I think that is very telling. This will not help. As a Chief Minister, she should have gone to the venue wherever problems are happening, or she should have made an appeal right from the beginning that the law has been passed despite her opposition. Well understood. We don't stand on the same ground. So she should make her position clear that she opposed the bill, but because of the majority, the bill has been passed. And let us see how to protect the interests of the Muslim community. She can assure in different way. And point blank making the claim not to implement, not to follow the Parliament Act. What does it mean? She is holding a constitutional position. And from that position, making a statement not to follow the act passed by the Parliament itself is unconstitutional claim. And that is very unfortunate. And for the time to come, many people will see that a person sitting in such a constitutional post is making such bizarre statement and causing violence and death of innocent people.
Are you surprised that no leader from the India bloc has actually raised a question about Mushidabad violence? Not Rahul Gandhi, not Akhilesh Yadav.
Akhilesh has supported it. Akhilesh, I heard one statement yesterday. Akhilesh Yadav, my colleague, and very nice person when we meet. But then this kind of statement comes is very unfortunate. She is saying that Mushidabad violence is a natural violence. She says that these people reacted against the Waqf Amendment Act.
There are leaders of the Trinamool Congress who said that anybody who looks at a Waqf property, their eyes will be gouged out. There are ministers who are saying there is no movement of people out of Bengal, out of Mushidabad. They are only moving from Mushidabad to Malda, which is intra-state movement. How do you see
this kind of dismissive statements given by Trinamool Congress on such tragic incident is very heart-burning. For us, we can't accept such kind of inhuman attitude of the Trinamool Congress people. I feel that their time has come. The Nandigram and Singur became the turning point of the political course of West Bengal. Now, this Mushidabad incident will be another turning point in the political history of West Bengal. And Trinamool Congress will pay heavy political price by making such unfortunate claims and statements on the
But that's
tragedy.
exactly what she is accusing your party of. That you are polarizing the situation by creating trouble in Bengal because elections are next year.
How can she accuse us of anything which is at her domain? Hasn't she made the statement that she will not implement the Waqf Amendment Act?
Other states have passed, non-BJP states have also passed same statement.
Same statement. But then who incited the violence in West Bengal? Trinamool Congress leaders are inciting. The instigations are, openly observed everywhere that they are directly or indirectly telling the Muslims to come out and protest and, do whatever you want to defy this act. This amounts to...
The silence of Rahul Gandhi is surprising?
Well, when I was there during the debate and discussion, initially I expected Rahul Gandhi to lead the debate because Waqf Amendment Bill is important, and as leader of opposition, I was expecting Rahul Gandhi to speak. Then, surprisingly, till late night, there was no name given by the Congress party of the LOP. And then finally, he didn't speak. And another thing which caught my attention was the absence of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. She didn't come. she was absent during the voting. The Congress party vociferously protested against this bill. And their leader didn't come even to vote. What does it mean? So you can sense certain things that they are not convinced what they are saying. If they are so forcefully convinced about the things they are putting forward in the public domain, they should vote. So I was
Rahul
surprised.
Gandhi voted against the bill.
Rahul Gandhi
Priyanka
voted.
Gandhi Vadra was not there.
She was not there, and
But she hasn't been there for the Congress working committee meeting in Gujarat. In fact, yesterday...
Voting, Gujarat, I can't say voting is the right of the members. If you're absent, you must have a valid reason. In fact, people are brought from the hospital for voting. People are, cancelling important engagements, marriage, other anniversaries, so many other social engagements.
And there was a whip.
There's a whip, because the whip is the ultimate thing while you are voting for a bill in the parliament. And then when you defy the whip, it follows action. So if a particular member is absent during the voting, when the whip is issued, then you can read between the lines.
What are you reading between the lines?
No, I don't read. I have, spelled out very clearly that they are not convinced about what they are saying.
But she wasn't present in the CWC, and yesterday when they were protesting, the Congress
Priyanka,
leaders were protesting against the ED's charge sheet on Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Also, she was not present at the protest.
That's why I'm saying...
What are you reading in that?
See, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is MP from Kerala. All the church bodies of Kerala had made an ardent appeal to all the political parties to support and vote in favor of the Waqf Amendment Bill. The all India church bodies had made a public appeal. I had gone to Kerala the other day. They are still expressing gratitude to the Prime Minister and our government for bringing this particular act. So I can understand. And some of the MPs from Kerala will feel it and find it in the future that going against this bill is a great mistake. It's a political mistake for them.
You heard that buzz?
I have discussed with many people and they will understand.
Including from the Congress?
In the days to come, Navika ji, very soon, Congress party will understand the grave mistake, the political blunder of opposing the Waqf Amendment Bill, and they voted against it. They'll pay for it, because this bill is not against anybody, but it is to provide justice to the needy people.
But then, why does the Supreme Court have so many reservations? MIM's Asaduddin Owaisi, of course, calls it majoritarian politics. The Chief Justice has also said that on collectors' decisions, they should be put on hold till there is a judicial review. Do you think these observations and the manner in which the government has had to give undertaking in the Supreme Court is a setback?
See, in the Supreme Court, how we have to respond, there are systems and procedures. I will not get into
But you've
details.
been law minister, you know how it works.
When I was law minister, I was very vocal that in certain things the judges should not get into. That I used to say as a law minister, because it's a frank exchange of opinions. But now, I'm not the law minister. I will not comment on the conduct of the judges. But what I'm saying is, Deputy Commissioner primarily handles revenue, land records, and other welfare matter in the district. We have to trust the Deputy Commissioner. Deputy Commissioners don't belong to political parties. If we don't repose our faith on the post of Deputy Commissioner, the office of Deputy Commissioner, then whom do we put our trust upon? Do you want that somebody else should be brought in parallelly to run and take care of these issues, bypassing the authority of the Deputy Commissioner? We felt it strongly that Deputy Commissioners are the right people to conduct surveys and other things. However, remember, when there is a dispute of the land, the government lands, then we have considered to the demands of the opposition parties in the JPC also. If there's a dispute to the government land with the Waqf board or the Mutawalis, then it will be conducted by an officer above Deputy Commissioner. Just look at the understanding and the attitude of our government. We have been very accommodative in understanding the whole situation, and we consider. Initially, we put this particular responsibility on Deputy Commissioner. But we say, okay, DM or DC or collector, whatever we call it, if dispute is with regards to the government land, with the Waqf bodies, and then it will go to the person who sits above Deputy Commissioner. It can be any office appointed by...
But the JPC itself was extremely divided on this issue. Even bottles flew during a JPC meeting. Where is the sanctity of dialogue in the middle of all?
This has been created by the opposition party. They could not digest.
It can't be that you can clap with one hand. दोनों तरफ से आग लगती है.
No, आग नहीं लगेगा. If you understand the reality, when we were in opposition party, I have been in opposition my lifetime. I came to government only in 2014. Imagine. Till 2014, I spent my entire life as a member of opposition party. We never created this kind of situation. In fact, when Advaniji was leader of opposition, we used to have our parliamentary party meeting in the morning. And he used to tell us, while we protest or we do sloganeering and other things, don't cross the middle line, because that side belongs to the treasury bench. We should remain within our side and protest. Now they come across, stand right in front of Prime Minister and put all those clothes and other banners and all. And they block even the view of the Prime Minister. They didn't allow Prime Minister to speak and all. So this problem starts with the mentality of, right to govern. The Congress party feel that they have the divine right to rule this country. Otherwise, whether it's a JPC or Parliament, you have the right to speak. That is your right. Nobody can snatch. But how can you impose your will on the majority? The majority will
But Rahul Gandhi says that you don't even allow him to speak in Parliament as the leader of opposition.
I am the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Let me be very emphatically clear about what happens in the Parliament. We give all the authority and space to Rahul Gandhi as leader of opposition. He has never been deprived of his time and his position. The problem comes when he wants to speak out of turn, or when he wants to do something which is not permissible as per the rules and conduct of business in the House. Within the House, you are to follow certain ethics, certain guidelines, certain norms, which are for everybody.
But he wanted to speak on the Mahakumbh death. The government could have provided
Navika,
him an opportunity to do so.
You are one of the senior most journalists in our country. When the Prime Minister or any other minister makes a suo motu statement, you cannot allow any other member to counter any kind of statement or seek clarification. It cannot happen. Otherwise, then you can't make suo motu statement. Then it becomes a debate. If you want to have a debate, then file it under some other rules. There are calling attention, short duration discussion. Under Rule 193, you can have a long discussion. There are mechanisms which have to be used if you are a good parliamentarian. I have stated from the very beginning, I have seen our seniors sitting in the front and following the parliamentary rules and becoming great parliamentarian. But if you want to somersault and then jump into conclusion and then bypassing all the rules and regulations, it doesn't happen like that. In the Rajya Sabha also, this issue came up. Then we said, no. Whenever there is a suo motu statement, it doesn't ensue any kind of discussion thereafter. And you want to have a discussion, we are welcome to it, but then you have to use other rules for that, other time. So that is why the problem is, Rahul Gandhi says he is, speaking out of turn, then his mic is off. That's natural. There are 543 mics in front of every member in the House. If you switch on all the mics together, then it will become like a fish market. You can't listen to each other. So the mic of the person who is permitted by the chair will speak, and that mic will be put into on mode. And if you are just standing up and then questioning the chair that your mic is switched off, that doesn't work like that. We have to understand that we must respect each other. I respect Rahul Gandhi as a member of
Really?
Parliament.
You do?
Of
That's
course.
news.
You tell me.
That's news, because that will be news for all political parties that you respect Rahul Gandhi, because now he is accused number 2 in the National Herald matter.
That is a criminal case. Even
It's
a criminal,
targeting of Rahul Gandhi.
even a criminal has own rights. You know, in
Are
this
you calling
country,
him a criminal?
I said this is a criminal case. He is not being, put in behind a bar, but there's a case going on. I have nothing to offer with regards to the case right now, because that is another subject we'll discuss later. What I'm saying is, as a member of Parliament, we are colleagues, okay? Then he's a leader of opposition, means he gets a status,
Cabinet rank.
and then he gets status of, other entitlement. I respect Rahul Gandhi as member of Parliament. I respect him as leader of opposition. And that is something which we cannot compromise. I have to respect. And not only as a colleague, I am the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. It is my bounded duty to reach out to the opposition and to talk to the colleagues for smooth functioning of the Parliament. And in my entire tenure, I remember very well that I have approached every political party and all my colleagues for smooth functioning of the Parliament. The problem comes when you accuse which is unfounded, like switching off the mic or not allowed to speak. Now you are undermining our own Parliament by making false accusation. That means indirectly you are casting aspersion on the chair.
Have you approached Rahul Gandhi personally?
No, we met personally. We keep, meeting.
Those meetings are chance meetings, corridor meetings. But have you sought a meeting with the leader of opposition to help smooth function?
I think Rahul Gandhi doesn't engage in negotiations.
Have you tried?
No, because whenever I wanted discussion with Congress party, either I have to meet Khargeji or...
He's the president.
Yeah, and like Venugopal and their leaders, Jairam Ramesh, Gaurav, and I have had a good discussion with other members. No problem. For me...
Is Rahul Gandhi unapproachable?
Whoever they authorize, it is up to them. I can't appoint their appointment. Rahul Gandhi may not be interested in sitting long time negotiating about the business and the issues. That is none of my business. He doesn't come to a business advisory committee. So it is okay. I have nothing to grudge against his absence.
What do you make of Mr. Rahul Gandhi when you chat with him? His statement on this entire issue of the constitution. Constitution hazaron saal hai. The BJP made a big deal about it. He was actually talking about the spirit of the constitution.
See, the problem with Rahul Gandhi is he doesn't pay attention to what others say. In the house, he's not attentive. He doesn't sit for a long time. Secondly, I think his advisors are telling him not to get into lengthy debate discussion. They give him few lines, few issues, and he keeps hammering on those lines. The result of all this is that he makes this bizarre statement like 1,000 years of the constitution, history and all. Well, to be a serious parliamentarian, first of all, you have to listen to other people's viewpoint. So
do you have this engagement with Khargeji?
Yeah, Khargeji is quite regular in the Rajya Sabha.
And BSc?
BSc also he comes. Not regularly, but he comes.
And he engages with you one-on-one on
Yes,
issues?
when we sit in the BSc, then we talk to each other. Khargeji is a well-respected person. I respect him. But he's a Congress president. He has his own ideology, committed to Congress leadership. I cannot comment on that.
But he's the leadership, no?
His leadership in Congress party, the leadership will remain with the family.
Isn't that, they have a president, Kharge ji, who's a, Dalit leader, to say that it is with the family. Is that being a little harsh?
No. Kharge ji himself made a statement on the floor of the House. Mujhe banane wala Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. He made the statement. He said that on the floor of the House. He is the Congress president. Kharge ji is the Congress president. But he says that who made me president is the person sitting next to me. So where is the ownership and leadership lying?
There is a buzz about a possible cabinet reshuffle. Have you heard the buzz? Let me go to a rapid fire round with you. There is a buzz about a possible cabinet reshuffle. Have you heard the buzz?
We don't think about this. This is job of Honorable Prime Minister. We don't get into.
But you don't hear?
Why should even I hear?
Do you have earplugs when you roam around?
Navika ji, I have so much things to do as the Minister for the departments which I'm handling. Where is the time for me to gossip about the cabinet reshuffle and other
It's not
things?
gossip, it's buzz, which you hear whether you like it or not. You didn't hear?
This is a process which Prime Minister has to decide. How do I get into entire things?
So let me ask you then, Kharge or Rahul Gandhi, who's a more effective LOP?
I think Kharge ji is more effective because he is more present in the person as well as in delivery.
Natural successor to the Gandhi legacy, Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi Vadra?
I don't know. I find Priyanka Gandhi Vadra more attentive and she spends more time in the parliament.
But she didn't come for voting.
She didn't come for the voting on the Waqf Amendment Bill, but she is more regular.
Any inside story there that you have
No, I don't
gathered?
know. I don't get into inside stories of Congress party.
No?
No.
I thought all party leaders snoop on other parties
we
to
don't
know
do
andar kya chal raha hai.
No.
It's natural.
No, I'm not interested in what happens inside Congress party.
Which opposition member in the parliament would you like to have a one-on-one debate with?
See, there are many leaders. Both
You have to choose one in Lok Sabha, one in Rajya Sabha.
Well, it's difficult to choose, actually. There are very learned people in Rajya Sabha like P. Chidambaram, Jairam Ramesh. They are learned people, well, intelligent people. But difficult to choose one.
So P. Chidambaram is the topmost name that you took. So one-on-one debate with him is something.
But I don't consider that one-to-one debate is something which I would choose for.
In the Lok Sabha, none?
Lok Sabha, I think there are some Congress MPs who are quite well aware of the situation, the parliamentary proceedings, as well as about the subjects. Manish Tiwari is, I think, a person who
You just spoiled his career by saying nice things about him.
I'm giving opinion, like Shashi Tharoor.
Oh, Shashi Tharoor and BJP have some recent love affair going on, no? He's been praising the Prime Minister, the government. Something happening there? You've just come back from Kerala. Did you catch any buzz?
If anybody is speaking the truth, you may term it as a praise or whatever, welcome.
If I were to ask you to create a campaign slogan for yourself, what would it be?
I don't create slogan for myself. I run as per the direction of the party. We are not supposed to...
But, everybody has a personality. Yes, your party's ideology you carry in your heart, but how would you describe you taking that ideology forward in a slogan?
See, I'm a very simple man. I'm very straightforward. I will do what is expected of me. That is my duty. And what I feel right, I must do it. Other than that, everything is under the command of the Prime Minister and the party. We are working in a system. When we are working within the ambit of a system, I should not venture out. That will not...
Okay, so I'm giving you the slogan, true soldier of the BJP.
That is for everybody in the party.
Okay. If not politics, what would have been your career?
Oh, I would have been either a a successful farmer. I have got a beautiful plot of land in my village. I would rather prefer to do
Then why did you do law?
Law is an interesting subject which I studied, and I wanted to become a lawyer, but then
Politics.
got into my life.
So farmer to possible lawyer to politician and minister. Well, that's a very, very nice career progression that we've seen for you, Kiren Rijiju. And yes, you're a very interesting man. Your timeline on social media is interesting on the kinds of food that you enjoy, the kind of music, folk music from Northeast that you enjoy. Someday, maybe we'll get you in your backyard to enjoy what Kiren Rijiju in his own farm is all about.
Certainly, please think of coming to my constituency and my village someday.
Absolutely. That's a promise. Thank you very much, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, for joining me on Frankly Speaking.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.